Okay, we will start. I think it's time to start. Okay. Shuklambaradaram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyayet Sarvabhigno Pashantaye Torbiryukta Chaturbir Manimayi Makshamalam Dadhana Haste Naikena Padmam Sitamapi Shukam Pustakam Chaparena Vasa Kundendu Shankas Mani Nibha Vasamana Samana Same Vagdevateyam Nivasatu Vadane Sarvada Suprasanna Kujantam Ramarameti Maduram Maduraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shunvan Rama Katanadam Konayati Param Gatim Goshpati Kritavarashim Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Bande Nilatmajam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakанjalim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Marutim Namatarakshasantakam Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Virasane Sustitam Agre Vacheti Prabhanjana Sute Tattvam Munibhya Param Vyakyantam Bharatati Viparivritam Ramam Bhaje Shyamalam Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasya Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyo Namostu Chandrarkamarudganebhyaha Harihi Om. Okay, so we are in the Yuddha Kandam. Yuddha hasn't started yet. We are still discussing a great deal of all pre-preparations on both sides. Rama built the bridge, crossed the ocean and came to this side. And obviously Ravana was internally disturbed. So as we saw, he first, in fact, even before Rama crossing, he sent Shuka and somehow tried to persuade Sugriva to keep off. That didn't happen. Their crossing of the ocean was a big blow for Ravana. And how do we know that? By the kind of actions he took after he got to know that they have crossed. Because he never expected that these people are going to knock the door. Because then he sent Shuka and Sharana, both of them came and advised. He, instead of understanding the advice, he shouted at them and asked them to go away. Then he sent Shardula. Shardula also came back and gave the same advice. Then, of course, his mother and Nirada, I think one of his oldest ministers, all of them have more or less advised a very similar thing to Ravana. But for whatever reasons, Ravana had, he did a tiraskara, tiraskritavan, sarvam tiraskritavan. He did a tiraskara of everything. He just dismissed everything. And last class, when we finished the class, we finished by Malyavan, who is Ravana's maternal uncle. He also seems to speak of how what Ravana is doing is adharma, and the devas are on the side of dharma, and so therefore they are on the side of Rama. All that he tries to say. That's where we stopped last class. Malyavan's advice, which he gave to Ravana, and let us see what Ravana did with that advice. I think today we will start from there and try to understand what is happening. So, 36th Sarga of Yuddha Kandam. So, once again, Ravana dismisses Malyavan's advice also. 22 verses in the Sarga. And in the first 13 verses, Ravana dismisses Malyavan's advice and ridicules Rama for his proposed misadventure. I mean, he bravely says all that. He says, he talks very low of Rama actually. And so on one hand, he keeps talking like that. But on the other hand, if you look at these shlokas 14 to 22, he is also internally worried. That is why, he deploys all his leaders on all the 4 gates of Lanka. He himself is on the, I think, northern gate, I think. He positions himself on the northern gate. I think Indrajit may be on the western gate. Prahasta is on the southern gate, something like that. So all that he does. That's what we see it in the Sarga. We'll see a couple of shlokas here because that gives us a little sense of what is going on in the mind of Ravana. When so many people were advising what was going in his mind. So we will see a couple of shlokas. So when Malyavan was saying that this is what it is, better Sita Maithilim Pradiyatam, Maithili Pradiyatam. No, he did not listen to it. So what did he say? He said, Manusham Kripanam Ramam Ekam Shaka Mrigashrayam Samartam Manyase Kena Tyaktam Pitra Vanalayam. Manusham Kripanam Ramam Ekam Shaka Mriga Ashrayam Samartam Manyase Kena Tyaktam Pitra Vanalayam. So he now describes about Rama. He is a Manusham. He is a human being. So Ravana always felt these human beings cannot do anything to him. In fact, that's why Vishnu took the avatar of a human being to kill Ravana. Because he did not expect danger from that quarters. So he always says, oh, human being, they are good for nothing, like that. So Manusham Kripanam. Okay, he is such a bad shape now. He is a Kripanaha. Ramam. Ekam Shaka Mriga Ashrayam. See, where is he? He is now, he is under the refuge of the animals and the plants in the forest. That is what Shaka Mriga Ashrayam, right? Samartam Manyase Kena and Tyaktam Pitra, one who was abandoned or sent out, Tyaktam Pitra, Vanalayam, to the forest. So, Kena Samartam Manyase, who will think him to be an equal to me or competent? Samartyam Tasya Astiti. Samartyam Kena Manyase. What kind of a person you are talking? You guys, people are all talking about. A fellow has been thrown out from his place, who is loitering in the forest, in the company of trees and animals, and that's all is his whatever he has. And why are you people unnecessarily worked up by this? I mean, bravely he says all that. Internally he is very worried. That's why he did that dirty trick. He took Vidyut Jikhva with him, went to Ashokavana, and brought a fake head of Rama. Why did he do it? If he thinks like this, he need not have done all that. He should have simply gone, marched the army, finished this person, and then come back to Sita and bring the real head, not the fake head. So while he is talking all this bravely, I think internally, the moment the Vanaras and Rama crossed the ocean, it was the end of the story. It was impossible according to Ravana's calculation. And Rama has made impossible possible. Therefore, I think his fear of Rama is growing. Still, all these he is talking. Rakshasam Ishwaram Mamcha Devatanam Cha Bhayankaram Heenam Mamanyase Kena Hi Aheenam Sarva Vikramaihi Rakshasam Ishwaram Mam Cha Devatanam Cha Bhayankaram Devatanam Cha Bhayankaram Heenam Mam Manyase Kena Ahinam Sarva Vikramaihi. That's what he is saying. He is saying that you are all simply Rakshasam Ishwaram Mam. I am the Lord of the Rakshasas. And Devatanam Cha Bhayankaram. I am also little, the Devatas are afraid of me. Devatanam Cha Bhayankaram. And Heenam Mam Manyase Kena. Who will think I am very weak? Because I am Aheenam, Sarva Vikramaihi. I possess all the powers. I am Sarva Vikrama. So, Sarva Vikramaihi Kena Aheenam Manyase. Nobody will think that I have people who are this thing, having all powers, how will they think very poor of me or very weak of me? So I am a very powerful and a very strong person, and this Rama is absolutely a useless character. That is what he is trying to actually say. Veeradveshena va shanke pakshapatena va ripoh Tvayaham parushan yuktaha paraprotsahanena va. He says, Veeradveshena va, out of dvesha, pakshapatena va ripoho. So you seem to have taken sides with the enemies. Ripu is the enemies. So pakshapatena va ripoho. Tvaya, by you. Aham parushani uktaha, parushan yuktaha. That is parushani uktaha, parushan yuktaha. So you have spoken harshly like this. See, when people give right advice, and when people are not willing to take advice, they only take things wrongly. They cannot see the right part of it. They can only see the wrong part of it. So therefore, he said, instead of thinking through what he said, you are talking very harsh words because you have also, I think, slanted on the side of the Ripu. Pakshapatena va ripoho, Veeradveshena va. That is why you are trying to talk like this, is what Ravana dismisses Malyavan also. So while that is happening on that side, in Sarga 37, Rama is having final discussion to launch the war. So because they have all crossed, time is running out. So they are not going to waste any more time. So 37 verses, first 6 shlokas, Sugriva and others discuss how to launch and begin the war. Those kinds of discussions happen. And then Vibhishana in the next 18 shlokas, Vibhishana is telling how has Ravana deployed his troops. Vibhishana's 4 ministers go and then find out, and he reports that, what is happening on the northern gate, what is happening on the southern gate, eastern and the western gate, and so on. So after hearing all that, in the next 13 shlokas, Rama pronounces orders to the army for marching ahead to attack Lanka. So finally he says, let's go. We have done all precautions that are required. We have made an assessment of what needs to be done, and therefore let us go on. So formally, Rama says, let us. And as the troops are asked to sort of move, there is one sarga in which Rama and the other leaders, Sugriva and all these people, main leaders, they climb up the Suela mountain because that's where they were actually camping. So short sarga, 20 verses. So first 7 shlokas, Rama decides to climb up the Suela mountain along with the other leaders, because he also wants to take a view of Lanka before launching war in terms of the physical action. He also wants to have a sense of what this Lanka is, so that will give us some idea of what to do. So all others also follow Rama. They all climb the Suela mountain and they stay there overnight. That's what this is, a very short sarga of 20 shlokas. So, moment Rama thought of Ravana, then there is this great deal of anger he has. So that is expressed by a few shlokas here. Lankam chalokayishyamo nilayam tasya rakshasaha yena me maranantaya krita bharya duratmana yena dharmo na vijnato na vrittam na kulam tata rakshasya nichaya buddhya yena tad karhitam kritam. So, Lankam cha alokayishyamah. Cha plus alokayishyamah, chalokayishyamah. Lankam cha alokayishyamah. Nilayam tasya rakshasah. Yena me maranantaya krita bharya duratmana. There is no padacheda here. Everything is, this is a shloka where absolutely no padacheda required. All of them are already in padacheda. So we'll see the meaning of this. Alokanam, say look. Look means in Sanskrit the English look. The word English look came from Sanskrit lokr. Lokr means darshane. That is the root. There are two roots: lokr darshane, lochru darshane. From lochru you got lochana, the equipment for seeing. That is lochana. From lokr we get loka, aloka. All those are the world, the object that we can see, which is the outside world. So aloka ishyamaha means let's go and see. He says let's go, let's see Lanka. Tasya rakshasaha nilayam, which is the abode of the rakshasa, who is Ravana. Yena, by whom me bharya hrita. Yena duratmana. Yena is also Tritiya Vibhakti. Duratmana is also Tritiya Vibhakti. So we have to connect these two. Yena duratmana. By this evil fellow, me bharya hrita. Bharya is Strilinga, hrita is Strilinga. So we have to connect these two. This is how we have to make sense of which word will go with which other word. Bharya is Strilinga. Therefore, hrita is also Strilinga. So apahrita basically. So by whom my wife was taken away. For what? Maranantaya. For his own death. So he says, let us go and see this Lanka, which is the abode of Ravana, and who had taken away my wife, because that is going to be the cause of his death. Then he says, Yena, by whom? Dharma na vijnataha. I think he has just ignored dharma. He has not taken cognizance of dharma. Dharma na vijnataha. Na vrittam na kulam tata. Did not also think about the character and the lineage and all that. Without knowing all that, he has taken away my wife. Na vijnataha na vrittam na kulam tata. Rakshasya nichaya buddhya. His buddhi, buddhya is Tritiya Bhakti. So Nichaya is also Tritiya Bhakti. So you have to take both of them together. Nichaya Buddhya, Rakshasya. So by his bad buddhi, yena tad garhitam kriham. This kritam, this bad act was done by him. So Rama says like that. He remembers that very angrily when he wants to look at Lanka. यस्मिन् मे वर्धते रोषः कीर्तिते राक्षसाधमे यस्यापराधान् नीचस्य वदं द्रक्ष्यामि रक्षसाम्. Rama is very angry actually. Yasmin me vardate roshah kirtihi kirtite not kirtihi kirtite Rakshasadhame Yasya aparadan nichasya. If you do a padacheda, yasya aparadat nichasya vadam drakshyami rakshasam. So that is the padacheda. So he says yasmin is saptami vibhakti, in him or on him or at him, whatever. So in him, me vardate, it grows. What grows? Roshaha, my anger. My anger is just increasing in him. Why? Kirtite Rakshasa Adame. This Adama, this low-level Rakshasa's name, moment he is talked about, my anger goes up. Yasya aparadat. Because of that mistake, that aparada that he did, nichasya aparadat, vadam drakshyami rakshasam. I will see that all these demons are destroyed. Because of the offense committed by him, I will see that the rakshasas are destroyed. Then, yeko hi kurute papam kalapasha vasham gataha नीचेनात्मा अपचारेण कुलं तेन विनश्यति एकः हि कुरुते पापं कालपाशवशं गतः नीचेन आत्मा अपचारेण. There are three words there. नीचेनात्मापचारेण. नीचेन आत्मा अपचारेण. Atma apacharena is a single word. It's a samasa. Nichena atma apacharena, which in sandhi atma apacharena. Kulam tena vinashyati. This is a very, very important. This is a very, very important concept. That's why I have, painted it in red. Ekah ki kurte papa. One fellow commits a sin. Ekah hi kurte papa. Now, if one person makes a mistake, what happens? Kalapasha vasham gataha. First of all, that fellow is already under the trap of death. That's why he is doing such a big mistake. Kala pasha vasham gataha. That pasha, the thread, the trap. Kalapasha vasham gataha ekah hi kurte papam nichena atma apacharena. Because of the mistake and the wrong thing that he did, kulam tena vinashyati. The whole lineage gets destroyed. Because of one person's mistake, the whole lineage gets destroyed. Kulam tena vinashyati. That is what Rama says here about. So here, the most important thing is Eko hi kurute papam kulam tena vinashyati. One fellow makes a wrong thing. This person happens to be the head, whatever. Then on account of his wrong actions, the whole community which is sort of with him gets destroyed. So that is what is being implied here. Now, this is a very eternal truth. This is not just about Ravana. This is not just, if you read Puranas, you will find any number of examples. We will find any number of examples for this prophetic statement. Eko hi kurute papam kulam tena vinashyati. So we will see some examples because we should understand these are very, very important messages in Ramayana. So, Eko hi kurute papam kulam tena vinashyati. Another shining example is the other epic. I mean, I should not say it's a shining example. It is not really a shining example. It is a clear example, let me say. Shining is not a good adjective here. It is the example of Duryodhana. Just because of this Duryodhana's, it was his insistence. He kept on pursuing something which he is not eligible for in the first place, but he was pursuing simply because of his what do you call it, matsarya, because of his jealousy and because of his unnecessary, understanding of what he is and what he is capable of and so on. Of course, he was completely supported by an evil person called Shakuni. And because of this one person's eko hi kurute papam, because of this one fellow's wrongdoing, kulam tena vinashyati, the entire here kulam, even in the case of Ramayana, kulam is not just Ravana's kith and kin, nor it means Duryodhana's kith and kin. The whole thing is destroyed. Karna is gone, Bhishma is gone, Drona and his family is gone. Whole lot of the hundreds and thousands of soldiers are gone. So it is a complete mess up of the place. So kulam tena vinashyati. Duryodhana is another example. There are any number of this idea is a very, very fundamental idea. This cannot we cannot say this applies only in the Purana or in Itihasa. It doesn't apply now. It applies today also. That's why I have given 3 examples here. If you look at the fall of Vijayanagara Empire, not only Vijayanagara Empire, so many empires between that 1400 and 1800 in India. It's western parts of India. It is Rani of Jhansi, Shivaji, you name anything. This Vijayanagara, Harihara and Bukka Empire, everything. You will find that it is because of a mistake done by somebody. In the case of Vijayanagara Empire, it is again jealousy of one of the relatives. So he joined hands with some of these Mohammedan invaders, and then they destroyed a whole lot of not only a great empire, but they destroyed a lot of artifacts. Go and see in Hospet and Hampi, the blood will boil. So not only, as I told you, Vijayanagara Empire, so many empires, princely states in India were destroyed only like this. Eko hi kurte papam kulam tena vinashyati. A more recent example is Adolf Hitler of Germany. These Nazi excesses that he did, finally everybody perished. It is a mistake of this dictator called Adolf Hitler. So that's a political example. And you can give any number of business examples also. You have these private airlines like, Kingfisher, for example. Kingfisher is an example of Eko hi kurute papam kulam tena vinashyati. Now, we are talking about a bank, we're talking about a diamond merchant. All these are examples. So this happens all the time. And it happens in families. It happens in a society. It happens in a business enterprise. It happens in a political party. We are seeing one particular party happening like this in this country today. It happens in, power fights, everywhere it happens. Eko hi kurute papam kulam tena vinashyati. We should be very, very wary of these mistakes that particularly, and all these, the papam done not by the people at the lower end. This is a papam done by the people at the higher end. People who matter, people who are at the head of institutions, head of families, or whatever you may call it, they are the ones. So that is what Valmiki, this is a Lokaniti that Valmiki brings in the Yuddha Kanta in this Sarga. So 39th Sarga of Yuddha Kandam, Rama and others, so they actually climbed the Suela mountain. If you remember the 38th Sarga, they climbed and they were staying overnight. And, this particular Sarga is our, Kavi, Valmiki, Adi Kavi Valmiki brings a very dramatic and a very picturesque description of how did Lanka look like when these leaders were viewing it from the Suela mountain. So there are 28 verses. First 16 shlokas talks about, because it's as you know, Lanka is very close to the equator, right? Lanka will be about 5 degrees, maybe 4 degrees, 5 degrees from north of equator, or maybe 3 degrees. I don't know exactly, because Chennai is 8. It will be easily, 4 or 5 degrees north of equator. So it is very close to equator. So the fauna and the flora are very rich actually. Particularly the flora is very rich, and therefore the fauna also. That is how it is around the equator wherever you go. So description of the flora of Lanka as viewed from the top of the Suela mountain. There are 16 shlokas on that. And then the next 12 shlokas is the description of the city of Lanka as viewed from the Suela mountain, the tall archways, the gates, the fortified, structure, everything. These are very important. War is all about strategy. You should know the terrain. So today we may, use a satellite picture. We may, send a, what do you call it as, an unidentified, unmanned flight or whatever, and then capture the terrain. Earlier, the only way is you should actually climb to a place which is so high, which is typically mountain top. So the purpose is the same. The methodology is different. So these are all required before the war. Only then you should know how the terrain is and so on. So therefore, that is what in this Sarga. Then there is something funny happening, which is described in the 40th Sarga. As they were sort of seeing, there are 30 shlokas here. As Rama, Sugriva, and Angada and other leaders were there, they were looking from the top of Suela mountain and try to understand how the city is and so on. Suddenly, Sugriva disappears. Sugriva, so the next 24 verses are what happened. So Sugriva, I think Sugriva was so angry but they spot Ravana. Actually, what happens is they see Ravana. That's what the first 6 shlokas are. And on seeing Ravana, such is the friendship that Sugriva has with Rama, that on seeing Ravana, he gets very angry. So he simply goes there. Ravana is also on the top of his, his palace. So from this top, it's an aerial jump, I think. He goes to the top and then he encounters a combat. Both of them start Malyuddha. I'll describe that. And both of them are blood-stained and all that. And at some stage, Sugriva finds the going not manageable. So he comes back, he escapes and then comes back. So, it's sort of funny in some ways. That's what happens in the 40th Sarga. 41st Sarga, Rama lays siege to Lanka. he sends a warning through Angada. So finally, this is the only messenger after Hanuman. Hanuman went in search of Sita. So he self-introduced himself as Ramaduta. That was an initiative, and it is not direct, but certainly it is implied. Although Hanuman said he did not say on his own, it is implied that Hanuman is Ramaduta. Whereas in this case, Rama sends Angada formally to see Ravana and give and send a very terse and harsh message. Actually, it's 99 verses, but before that, the first 22 shlokas are Rama is quite disturbed by what Sugriva did. Suddenly, Sugriva disappearing, going to Ravana and fighting with him, and then coming back. He was a little concerned. He disapproves, and he was also concerned. Of course, then after that, he says, see, there are so many bad omens signaling impending calamity and so on, which he keeps saying every now and then, as we have noticed. Then the next 35 shlokas, Rama and the army descends, so they sort of come down from the Suela mountain. And then they also take positions in the four sides. So Nala is one place, Neela, then Dvinda, Gandhamadana, Gava, Gavaksha, all those, there are different, on the four gates, they are all asked to take positions to attack. That's all described. Then in the 19 shlokas after that, Rama sends a very harsh message to Ravana through Angada. And the last 23 shlokas, Angada delivers the message and he returns unharmed. And so all those are described in this Sarga. We will see if there are very important and very nice shlokas that we have to see in this Sarga. I have chosen because it brings some of the very nice things about the character called Rama and also the character called Ravana. So we'll have to see all those shlokas in this Sarga. The first thing is Rama's disapproval of Sugriva's action. Rama himself was perplexed actually. So, asam mantriyamaya sartam tadidam sahasam kritam evam sahasa yuktani na kurvanti janeshwaraha. Asammantriya maya sartam tat idam sahasam kritam evam sahasa yuktani na kurvanti janeshwaraha. See, mantriya means, why are they called mantris? Because they have to be consulted. So the cabinet has to be consulted. Even today, in any country, take India for example, the cabinet has to approve decisions before it is taken to the parliament or implemented. Cabinet, there is a, that's why they are called mantris. The mantris are for consulting. So mantriya means having consulted. Asammantriya. Sammantriya. Sammantriya means samyak mantriya. That is a upasarga. Well consulted. That is the sam is for upasarga. So mantriya means consulted. Sammantriya means well consulted. Having well consulted. Asammantriya means not having well consulted. That's what it means. So asammantriya maya sartam. You did not consult this idea with me. Idam sahasam kritam. You did a sahasam now. You did a reckless act. Evam sahasa yuktani na kurvanti janeshwaraha. I think leaders should not do all this. We have to be much more nuanced in how we handle. Leaders cannot just jump up and down, take decisions like this. They are all not, should not be done, because you have to be more, considered. You have to take it a little slow. You have to ask others to do before you get in there. So many things are there. That's why he says, na kurvanti janeshwaraha. He is Janana Vishwara. He is a king of Kishkinda. How can he do it? Samshaye stapyamam chedam phalam chemam vibhishanam kashtam kridamidam viram sahasam sahasapriya. See, even when he is admonishing him, even when he is expressing his disapproval, he is telling it in such a Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, yes, I have unmuted. Yes, yes. Yes, I have unmuted. Thank you. The current, when the power went off and reconnected, I think it has gone to mute. Okay, anyway, fortunately we are in the same shloka. Therefore, there is no harm. I can repeat it. So I'll tell the shloka again and then explain. Tvayi chanagate purvamiti me nischita matihi janataschapi viryam mahendra varnopama hatvaham ravanam yuddhe saputra balavahanam abhishicya cha lankayam vibhishanam atapicha bharate rajyamaropya tyakshe deham mahabala. It's a very important shloka. Thank God you alerted to me that audio was stopped. Rama is saying, they're raising the hand again. Is there any other issue? Can somebody chat whether it is audible, please? Can somebody chat me whether it is audible?
Now it's okay? Now it's
okay.
okay.
Okay. So what Rama is saying here is me nischita matihi purvam iti. See, I thought like this before itself. Purvamiti me nischita matihi. I thought like this before itself. Tvayi cha anagate. In case if you don't return. That's the first line. In case if you don't return, what should I do? I have already thought about it. That's what Rama is saying. Then in the second line he says, Janataha chapite viryam. I know you will return. I am aware of your viryam. Mahendra Varnopama. You are equivalent to Mahendra and Varna. You are equivalent to Indra and Varna. I know that. Janatas chapite viryam. Although I know about your viryam, still Purvam me nischita matihi toicha anagate. In case if you don't come, what should I do? I thought about it already. That's what Rama is saying. What did he decide? That's what the next three lines are. He says, Hatva aham Ravanam yuddhe. I will kill Ravana in the Yuddha. Saputra bala vahanam. I will kill all his sons and all his army also. I will vanquish and all that. Then Abhishicchecha Lankayam Vibhishanam. I will do a coronation of Vibhishana for Lanka. That also I will do. Atapi Anantaram Tadanantaram Cha Bharate Rajyam Aropya. I will establish Bharata as the king. Tyakshe Deham Mahabala. I will give up my life. This is the depth of friendship. This is the purity of friendship. This is the ultimate thing about friendship. That's so beautifully brought in these shlokas. That's why, although there are 7, 8 shlokas, I wanted to bring all of them because these are some of the fine characterization of Rama. He says, in case you don't return, I already made up my mind. I will put Vibhishana in Lanka after killing Ravana. I will put Bharata as the king of Ayodhya, and I will also give up my life because I gave you, I am a Sharanagata Vatsala. I have given you refuge. On my cause you went and something happened to you with Ravana. I am morally responsible for it. That is the kind of subtlety with which Rama is handling these issues. So in between, so this is the beginning of the sarga, and there are about 99 shlokas in this sarga. So in between, there are details of which Vanara leader will be in the north gate, south gate, east gate. All those are there. So how the troops are being positioned, everything is there. Then he sends Angada. Rama sends Angada to as a Dhuta. Because Rama wanted to give a final chance. They are all ready to blow the conch and start the fight. At the 11th hour, Rama actually wanted to avert the possibility of a war, because Rama also knows that in the process of killing one poisonous snake, 1,000 good fishes will die. He wants to avoid the 1,000 good fishes, not this one poisonous snake. So he sends Angada. And if you may recall, Ravana also sent spies, not even dutas. He sent Shuka as a duta. And you know how Rama handled, Rama handled even Sukha and Sarana, who were actually spies, Shardula, who was a spy. You know how Rama handled it on this side. Now we'll see what Ravana did. And Angada went and gave a terse, very harsh message. And so Ravana was angry. This is what he says. Tatas saroshatam rakshaha sashasha sachivamstada grihyataamesha durmedha vadyatamiti cha sakart. Tatah saha roshaha tamrakshaha sashasa sachivan tada. There sachivan, there's a nakara, then tada, that becomes makara and sakara. Sachivams tada. Sachivan tada. Grihyatam yeshah durmeda vadyatam iti cha asakrit. That is the padacheda. So tatah, thereafter, after Angada actually gave his message, Ravana was furious. Roshaha tamrakshaha, tamrakshaha, copper eye. I mean, it became red, very angry. It says sashasa. Sashasa means ordered. Shashanam kritavan. Shashasa is ordered, commanded or commanded. Sachivan tada. Then tada is then. Sachivan sashasa. He told his attendants. Grihyatam yesha. Catch him. Grihyatam yesha. Durmeda. Vadyatamiti. Kill him. Rama never said like this. Ravana is saying kill him. He is a duta. In fact, Ravana said the same thing to even Hanuman when he came. He said the same thing actually. So here also he says the same thing. So he says, Grihyatam yesha durmeda vadyatam iti cha asakrita. So he said like that. Ravanasya vacha shrutva deeptagni samatejasah jugruhustam tato goras chatvaro rajanischarah. Ravanasya vacha shrutva, having heard Ravana's order, vacha shrutva, deeptagnihi, they are like, blazing. Samatejasah, they're equal in splendor to whom? To Angada. No, Deeptagni Samatejasah is the adjective for Angada. Angada was Deeptagni and Samatejasah, equal to Ravana actually. So this Angada, Jugruhu, there Jugruhustam is actually Jugruhu tam. That Visarga has become is Sakara. Grih means to catch or take. Jugruhu means to, they caught, it's a past tense, they caught him or something like that, seized him or taught him. Tataha goraha chatvaraha rajinicharaha. So there are 4 terrible demons who caught hold of Angada. That's what this shloka is saying. Tasyotpatana vegena nirdutas tatra rakshasah bhumau nipatita sarve rakshasendrasya pashyatah. Tasya utpatana vegena, tasyotpatana vegena. Tasya utpatana vegena nirdutaha tatra rakshasaha bhumau nipatitaha sarve rakshasendrasya pashyatah. Tasya utpatana vegena. The way he lifted, utpatana is to lift up. So the way Angada lifted himself up, nirdutaha. See, dui. The du is actually Sanskrit root dui. Dui means to shake. I told you avaduta. Avaduta is one who shakes everything in life. He is nirduta. He shaked off everything. Nirdutaha. Tatra the Rakshasas were all, sort of shaken off. That is the meaning. They were all shaken out by the lifting himself of Angada was making such a great leap. Tasya utpatana vegena nirdutaha tatra rakshasaha bhumau nipatitaha. All of them fell. All those 4 fellows fell on the ground. Sarve rakshasendrasya pashita. Everything is happening in front of Ravana. Ravana is seeing. He is a party to seeing what is happening. Angada just shook them off with his violent leap. All these fellows fell on the ground. Vyatayan rakshasan sarvan harshayans-chapi vanaran savanaranam madhyetu rama pashvamupagatah. Vyatayan rakshasan sarvan, right? He made all of them, restless. Sarvan rakshasan vyatayan harshayan chapi vanaran. He made vanaras happy in this process. Harsha is for the vanara, vyatanam is for rakshasa. Vyatayan rakshasan sarvan harshayan chapi vanaran saha. Here saha is Angadaha. Vanaranam madhye tu Rama pashvam upagatah. So he returned back in the company and the midst of the Vanaras. So what is happening here? That is a very interesting contrast between Rama and Ravana. The episode is very similar. Ravana also sent emissaries and Rama also sent emissary. How did both handle? Ravana was very desperate. Basically, he had huge desperation. Now, he is not showing it outwards. Inside, he has desperation and fear. That's why he orders killing, harming, etc., all those he is saying. Whereas, what did Rama do? If you remember, Rama, when Shuka was caught, Rama told, first of all, leave him, don't, cause harm to him. Then he told Shuka, have you seen enough? If you have not seen enough, tell me. I will ask Vibhishana to take you once again. Go around thoroughly and see for yourself what is happening. So that comes out of confidence. He is beaming with confidence. So therefore, he provides protection and comfort. And all these are happening because Rama is governed by principles of dharma. That is the reason that all this is happening. Whereas Ravana is outwardly shouting. Outwardly, he is pretending to be, very sort of, he is not afraid of anyone. All that he is saying outward, there is huge desperation and fear in him. That's why he is doing all these kinds of things. 42nd Sarga of Yuddha Kanda. Finally, the war is going to start. Because all other avenues are over now. The last straw is pulled out. Namely, Angada was sent by Rama to avert a possibility of a war and leaving, Ravana. But that is also not possible now. Therefore, the clash between the two armies erupt now. So there are 47 verses in the Sarga. First 5 shlokas. Rakshasas inform Ravana of Rama laying siege to Lanka and his troops taking positions to attack. So Rakshasas go and tell these Vanaras have now come. They have completely engulfed Lanka now. They are all laid siege to the Lanka. That's what Rakshasas go and tell Ravana. And while that is happening, in the next 26 shlokas, upon Rama's orders, Vanaras advance towards Lanka and start attacking and damaging the structures. The archers, they have started sort of damaging some of the fort walls and things like that. All those are described. So therefore now Ravana, all this talk is over now. Ravana has to now start. Nothing else is possible. He cannot say, I am great. He has to prove that he is great. Therefore, in the last 16 shlokas, Ravana orders the march of his army. They beat the drums, then they roar and march, and clashes erupt between the two armies. So up to 42 sargas in Yuddha Kanda, there is only talk about, all things about war. The war has since started. Actually, from 43rd sarga only, war starts. Up to 42 is sarga in Yuddha Kanda is just all kinds of pre-preparations, testing the assessment, inspecting the terrain, finding out how many people are there, making a count of the army. All these happened. Of course, Vibhishana, crossing sides, building the bridge, all that. So they are all set. So 43rd sarga onwards, actual now from 43rd sarga to 100 and I think 11th or 115th sarga, it is only war, war and war. It's brute force fighting only from 43rd sarga. So far, it is all sort of preparation for the war. So I want to take a pass here, because from now we are going to only talk about who killed whom. Maybe we can put a list and that's the end of it. I'm not very keen to, unless there are some lokanitis there, I'm not going to get too much detail into shlokas and so on. But so therefore, let me once again take stock of what is the moral of the story happening with respect to this character called Ravana. So we'll take about 5 minutes to sort of understand this summary of. Now we have to start from Aranyakanda, because this whole nonsense started there. So I have captured what kind of signals Ravana received of the impending calamity. So let us see. So the first level is in Aranyakanda. Shurpanaka, if you remember, Shurpanaka, after Kara and Dushana were killed and Shurpanaka's nose was cut, all that you remember. Then Shurpanaka only gave this wonderful idea, you steal his wife away. That time Maricha gave 2 sargas of advice. Maricha said, don't do that, it will destroy you, it will destroy all your family and everything. He did not. That's the first sign of some advice and signal of impending calamity. Then as he was running away, Jatayu and challenged him. So Jatayu also said, so that is the second. So I call this level 1, because these all happened at the very moment he was lifting Sita. So I call this level 1. It all happened in Aranyakanda. So it is the immediate signals were visible, and I would still grant a benefit of doubt for Ravana. He has not seen it. So okay, we leave it like that. At the second level, several signals were visible. First one was Hanuman crossed the ocean. Ramaduta came on this side. I think Ravana should have woken up at that time. And Lanka Devi was killed. Lankini was killed. That is a clear signal again that the going is not going to be any great. Third signal, after talking to Sita Mata, Sarga 41 to 52 in Kandam, if you remember, some massive damage to Ashokavana. He killed so many people. He killed Jambumali Vada, Pancha Sena Agranayakaha, Akshay Kumara, Pancha Sena Agranayakaha, and then Akshay Kumara. Then you had so many other, there's one more category of some 10,000 people. So many were killed. So many warriors were killed. Ashokavana was destroyed. The Lanka was put to fire. I have not included that also. I should put Lanka put on fire. All of them, 41 to 52. 11 sargas or 41 to 54 or something. That 14 sargas. What was Ravana doing? Was he sleeping? Was he, all the time thinking nothing will happen to him? I mean, he is an idiot. If he have been thinking like that, he is an idiot and he deserved a death. And that's what happened. So this is level 2. At least he could have woken up by this time. Then comes level 3, which is the Vanaras built a bridge and came to the other side, which is a very big thing. In fact, that day Ravana should have woken up. Ravana actually woke up. His ahankara did not allow him. That's why he was desperate. He was inside, as I've been telling you and showing you. He has been very much afraid inside. But his ahankara did not allow him to do anything about it. So, building a bridge was another signal. All of them crossed and came this side. Then there was a host of advices. Even before building the bridge, Vibhishana gave an advice. Vibhishana was abused like anything. Finally, he left. We saw that 19th Sarga of Yuddha Kanda. Vibhishana went Rama Sharanagati. He crossed the sea and went to the other side. With his help only, they Noho and all that, they came, build the bridge along with Nala at the Noho and so on. Kumbhakarna advised. I showed you some of those shlokas. Shuka was sent to dissuade Sugriva, and Shuka came back and said things are not okay. And Ravana did not believe Shuka. He sent Shuka and Sarana again. They both came and told the same thing. He got angry with them, dismissed them off, and sent spies under the leadership of Shardula. He also came and told the same thing. Ministers also told in a very careful way. They were trying to tell. Ministers are very smart. They said either return Sita or wage a war. So essentially they had indicated you have to pick up. They won't tell in black and white. You are supposed to pick up. He did not look at any of these. Then came the fourth level. I call it as fourth level because your own mother is saying now. Your own maternal uncle is saying now. Your own senior minister. We saw it in the last class. So it has come that close. People who were genuinely interested in your welfare is also saying now. Your uncle told the same thing. Your mother told. No, you didn't listen to any of those. You had a combat with Sugriva. That also must have given you some sort of a message. You seem to have ignored it. And finally, Rama also sent a message directly through Angada. And that also, instead of taking that message, you use some foul play and you are only asking people to somehow kill Angada. And these are all very low level process. So all these are very clearly showing that the final judgment is done already. The decision is already written. The rest are going to be only a formality, and a formality in which eko hi kritam papam kulam sarvam vinashyati. That is what we saw just now. That is going to be enacted beginning the 43rd Sarga. From 43rd Sarga onwards, it is going to be simply, all kinds of war. In between, some very important events have happened. So we'll have to see all of them. So I think I should stop here rather than getting into the war per se. I think we will do it next class because this is one logical sort of end to the discussion. So all that we are saying is Ravana had umpteen ways to sense, umpteen opportunities to stop, and umpteen opportunities to reform himself. So the story is not about Ravana. The story is about you and me. So in our life like this, there are so many signals which keep coming for so many things. And Vinashakale Viparita Buddhi, as people say, if the going is to go to a major catastrophe, we will ignore it, we will overcome, we will, just overlook it, we will do udasina, we will take, when people actually out of good heart, they try to show it, you get angry with them, you take them to the task for saying that all these that Ravana is doing, don't think it is Ravana and Rama's story. We should map these to our own lives. That is why Valmiki is giving all these. And if we miss these kinds of signals, our catastrophe will also be bigger. I think that is the message that we get so far with this trajectory of Ravana, which we have captured from Aranya Kanda to until now in Yuddha Kanda. I think with this we will It's about 10 minutes early, 10, 15 minutes early, but that's okay because I think it's a logical end for us. So we will stop here with the Mangala Shloka. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobarahito Brahmana Santu Nirbhayah Aputra Putrina Santu Putrina Santu Pautrinah Adhana Sadhana Santu Jivantu Sharadam Shatam Shinvan Ramayanam Bhaktya Yappadam Padame Baba Sayati Brahmanastanam Brahmana Pujyate Sada Harihi Om. Okay, Shubharatri.